I'm so excited that we're together. We made this happen. Welcome to Celebrating Delicious Movement. I'm Linda Gee-Hesketh, and this is Ranya, and she's amazing. She's an expert in human design, and she's a business coach, and she helps women step into their power. And the reason I wanted to bring her in is because human design made such a huge difference in me being able to know myself that I think I want to bring more human design knowledge to people so that women can step into their power. And because I really like the approach that Ranya has. So I'm wondering how to introduce you. Where are you located? Where in the world?
Well, first of all, hi, Linda. Thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor, and I'm very, very excited to have this conversation with you. I sit in Montreal in Canada. I am born and raised in Egypt, but I've been in Montreal for the last 14 years.
Wow. So English isn't your first language.
It is not. Yes.
Oh, so interesting.
Mhm.
And I just found out, mind blowing, that Rania has two kids. So if you're watching on YouTube and you can see us, it's kind of like, what? Oh my gosh. Um, how did you get into human design? How did you learn about this? What's your journey?
This is such a personal story, and I talk about it a lot because I think what I'm doing in my business is because of that story. Um, in 2020, I was going through some difficult times. I think we all were, right? In 2020, somehow with, the world shutting down and you being with yourself. And I had no other choice, but this is the time I'm going to face all my fears, all my thoughts, and I have so much time, staying home. And I've had some challenges years in the past, being a young mom with two young kids, working, juggling everything around. And I came across human design as I was working on my own journey for personal growth. I wanted to step into my own power. I wanted to take back my power and change my own life because nobody's going to change it for me. So when I came across human design and I started really understanding what is a manifesting generator, which is my type, and understanding how I'm designed to make decisions, and things started like really clicking for the first time. And I started looking at my life so differently. It's kind of like I was thinking, oh, why is this happening to me? And now I'm looking at, these are all lessons learned that I could help other people with. And that was a moment I remember very clearly. I was sitting at the dining table, connecting the dots of my charts, and I started crying, tears of,
I feel that.
yeah, it was tears of relief, first of all, like
Yes,
nothing is wrong with me.
I felt
And then
that too.
tears of hope that, okay, maybe it's not that bad. I can use the lessons that I've learned across the year with human design and help other women, step into their own power. And also tears of joy, like, oh my God, I can actually do this. And this is the exact moment that has been in my subconscious, I guess, as I am growing my business. Every offer I create, every conversation I have, I want my clients and my audience to feel the way I have felt, that we have the power to change our own life. We have the power to choose a different story and look at things just a little bit differently and take that personal power back and take the aligned action using our human design. So
Yes.
long answer, but
No, it's
but
a beautiful answer because I had a similar experience when I found out what my design type was. It explained so much, and
Mhm.
it explained why so much advice that I was trying to implement was not working for me. Like it was absolutely frying my nervous system. And um, yeah, yeah. So let's talk about what the types are. Like when you find out what your human design is, and then I'll expand on my story a little bit because um, if I just start throwing out terms, then it won't make sense. But yeah.
Yes. So in the human design system, we have 5 different types. And the type, it gives us this like kind of like a guidebook on how we operate in this world. It's like our
Yeah.
own manual. So there's 5 different types. There is the generators who are designed to do the work. They have a lot of energy and they can keep going and they are, they have a lot of consistent energy within them. So that's the first type as a generator. There's the manifesting generators, who is kind of like a sub generator. It's a subcategory of the generator because they have elements from a third type, which I'm going to talk about next. But the manifesting generator also have this life force energy, workforce energy, but they also thrive in working on different things. So they're not very focused. And if you're listening and you're a manifesting generator, this will make like a whole lot of sense. Um, and honestly, I thought something was wrong with me because I just couldn't focus on one thing. I thrive and I'm more happy and I'm more excited when I work on different things. So that is really the manifesting generator. The manifester is a third type, and they are here. They work a little bit differently. They're more of leaders. They are into their heads. They know what they want to do and they walk for it. And they just need to communicate to their people to say, okay, this is where we're headed. Come follow me. So it's a little bit different than a generator. They're very innovative. They are here to show us different ways of doing things. Then we have the projectors. The projectors, maybe they don't have, and I'm saying this with all the love, but maybe they don't have as much energy as the generators or manifesting generator. And I work with a lot of projectors and they come with me thinking that, okay, what is wrong with me? Why cannot not do the same thing as this person? So if the art projector, the very first thing I say is, how can you do this in a smart way, not the hard way? Because that's their genius. They're here to see through things. They're here to, see our blind spots. They're very laser focused. They don't need to spend a lot of energy like a generator. They can just do it in 1 step, 2 steps. That's why I always say, you know what, just figure it out. You can do this smarter than I can. So go figure it out and let me know how you can do this with less energy, less physical energy and mental energy. And then the last type, which is the reflector, they are rare. They're only 1% of this population. And they are here to kind of mirror back to us how we're doing in this life. They are very, they're reflectors. That's what their name is, right? So when you are talking to a reflector, you kind of see yourself in them and you have very deep conversations and they have a lot of wisdom to share. So as you can see, there's different types and everybody's different. But in my opinion, how we step into our power and change this world together is when every one of us is operating from their zone of genius, because
Yes.
that's how we're going to be crossing over, and helping each other to have a better world. And that is my mission in this life, to, help people step into their power and become their authentic self in their unique way.
And we need all of them to make the world go round.
Absolutely. Yes. And that's the beauty of human design because it tells you how different you are and how unique you are. And then you can amplify those gifts. You can use those gifts and bring them forward rather than thinking, why am I different? Let me suppress that. Let
Yeah.
me try to be somebody different. Actually, no, we need those unique gifts in you to show up and make an impact with those gifts because you have them for a reason.
Yeah. So let's go back. If reflectors are a very small percentage, what percentage are the other ones, the other four?
So
Ish.
the generator, yeah, I think the generator is about 30 something and the manifesting generator as well. So the majority of the populations are the generators and they are here to do the work, right? They have that energy to create what we need to create in the world. The manifester, they are a little bit less because they are the ones with the idea, and then the generators kind of do the thing.
Yes.
And the projectors also is a smaller population, maybe around, I don't know, 20%, around that. Yeah.
Okay, so this is a beautiful segue into how I have felt so much relief with finding out because I am a manifesting generator. So if anyone knows me in real life, it's like, oh my gosh, what project are you on now? And like even my financial team that supports me, they're like, okay, let's list all of your income streams. And I was like, well, in my mind, it's really two. So, like it's simple, but I have lots of facets to
Mhm.
fitness and wellness and a holistic approach. So it might be product, it might be services, it might be group things, it might be one on one, it might um, be a membership. It takes different forms, but in my mind, it's very clear that it's kind of one thing. Um, but then you don't fit into a box. So, for example, if I'm working in fitness and I have certification or insurance to do personal fitness training, it's like, okay, this is your scope of practice. And it's like, hmm. Or if I would have people say, okay, you need to do these three things every single day. As a manifesting generator, my energy really comes in waves. I like to do these three things every day or five things, 10 things. On some days it takes 5 minutes. On some days I can't even get myself to do it.
Yeah.
And then I
Yeah.
would think, what's wrong? It's simple, three things. And it's like, no.
Yeah.
So it
And
was
that's the
really,
thing, because when you kind of alternate between those things, it kind of like you charge your own energy with whatever you want to work on. It's the same thing, for example, with my coaching business. Like you said, I have so many different offers and I'm selling all of them at the same time. But that's what keeps us energetic, that what keeps us going. And whatever your type is, we need to always remember that we all have rest cycles, that it is okay, to take a
yes.
break and come back. And I say, because we talk about this a lot in business, like being consistent, showing up all the time. I say consistent could mean every day for somebody, but it could also be twice a week for somebody else. And they show up twice a week, and that is their consistency, and that is okay.
Oh, beautiful.
Let's look at the long-term plan rather than the day-to-day. I think that that's going to be just a little mindset shift that, okay, I'm still showing up and I'm
That's,
working and building those systems for myself to be able to honor my own energy, right?
yeah, that's a mic drop right there. Like some people should just like shut off the podcast right now. It's like, okay, I have permission to be consistent on these intervals rather than on a daily or on an hourly. Like, oh, so good. Yeah, because with fitness training, with I always think of the yin and yang of things. There's a balance between the action and the rest. And when there's the rest cycle for recovery, that's when the magic is integrating and we have to really honor that. And I think in business we that's where we generate our ideas, or in fitness that's when we actually build more muscle or have the tissue shift or integrate the changes. It can't be, oh, train every day at 100%. It doesn't honor a woman's biological cycle. It doesn't honor a lot of the training and adaptation cycles. Yes, so good. Yeah, it's just like permission to flow with your zone of genius or the way you were designed to operate. Yeah. So
Absolutely.
how do people find out what they are?
So they can go, and maybe we can add the link if we can, on Jovian Archive. It's the website, or the original website of the Human Design System. There's so many different websites that provide free charts. You will need your birth information, including date and time and place of birth, and then it will generate the chart for you. It will tell you what type you are, what is your authority, which is the way we're making decisions, and some more information so you can start that journey.
Yes. Okay, so I think making decisions is a sticking point for a lot of people because they try to go in their heads and they do
Mhm.
the plus or minus, like they weigh their options, but you can always flip side every plus or minus. So learning our more about ourselves and how to honor our decisions. Like as a manifesting generator, I'm a 1-3, so sacral authority. When I learned that for me, um, a yes or no question is better than, oh, what do you want for Christmas? What do you want for your birthday? It's like, oh my gosh, that's so open-ended. It's too much for me. But if you say, would you like this for dinner? I can give you a yes, no, or a no. So that was a beautiful thing. And another thing that I found out for how I operate is to sleep on it. Like make the decision after I've taken some time, which often is not the same decision if I had made it impulsively or when I thought I was ready um, to make the decision. But if I can actually like go into how my body feels about the decision rather than in my head about the pros and cons list, it's like, oh, so much better.
Yeah.
So when people don't know the time of their birth, how does that work? Or if they're not sure?
So yeah, there's a couple of ways to try to find out is either to contact the hospital where they were born, because sometimes it's there in archive files. So that could be one way to try and figure it out. The other thing is from the I'm going to use the word institute. I don't know the right word, where they generate the birth certificates, because sometimes they have reference to that as well. Worst case scenario, if there's no way to know the date of birth, and I've had clients like that before, what we do is that we try different timing of the day, and then we see if there's a major change in the chart. Usually there's not, maybe a slight change.
Yeah.
And then what I help my clients with, I say, okay, so let's say you're either a manigen or a projector, which is like totally opposite, right? So what resonates more? Do you feel this is who you are, but maybe you've been resisting it, or do you resonate more with that? And we start exploring. But like I said, there is ways to figure out when you
Perfect.
were born, but worst case scenario, you can explore different timing and, take it from there and see what resonates with you.
Beautiful. So the answer to that is yes, even if we don't know the time, there is a way and we can move from there. So, tell me some more about how someone might be able to use their human design to step into their power. So, for example, I have people in my audience who are making a decision about, oh, is this my time for, running a marathon? Or is this my time for focusing on this, like on my nutrition? Or is this my time for maybe I should be in a rest cycle? They, like, I find that society as a whole has been really functioning in a masculine energy and giving people, especially women, the message be productive, do, be busy. It's a badge of honor to be busy, to be fatigued, to be exhausted, to be overwhelmed, and let's just complain about it, kind of thing. And they won't listen. to their bodies because they're so in their heads. So,
Mhm.
how does human design help us in that kind of scenario?
Yes, and I think this is the first thing that I teach my clients or even potential clients. Like when they come and they want to make a decision if they want to work with me or not, I say, listen, let's start with making aligned decisions for yourself because I think this is huge.
Aligned.
This
Yes.
is huge. And I'll use, you know, what you've said earlier about your sacral yeses in the moment, but then when you sleep on it, you know, sometimes that changes. And I'll explain why, because I think you've nailed it when you've explained it. As a sacral authority, and you know, there's a lot of people, sacral authority, you are designed to make decisions from your body in the moment. So yes or no questions really gets you excited to feel in your body if yes, I'm excited to do that, or no, I just don't feel like doing it. When you wait, because it works in the moment, when you wait on that decision, you allow your fears and your thoughts to take over and start talking you out of what your body wants you to do. And that is, I see this a lot of challenge between my mind is telling me this is a bad idea, but my sacral wants me to go for it no matter what. And that's when we need to start, you know, building that trust between, you know, what our body's trying to tell us and deal with those thoughts and change our thoughts and change our belief system and face our fears. And that's when we step into our full power, right? Now, on the opposite side, I am an emotional authority, so I'm totally opposite. If you ask me something now, I would be so confused. I need time. I need to sleep on my decisions because of how my emotions, it's like a chemical reaction, like it always flows. So you may ask me something now and my emotions, I'm excited and I'm on the high emotional wave and I say yes today. But when I sleep over it and tomorrow I have a low emotional wave, I might regret it and say, I no longer want to do this, right? I need to sleep and I need to feel my body telling me yes when I'm excited and when I'm not, and I'm on a low emotional wave. So as you can see, just by comparing two different authorities, you are meant to have faster decisions in the moment. I'm meant to sleep on my decision at least for a day or two to get that clarity of what is my body trying to communicate for me here. And there's other authorities as well, but that is really all about human design is understanding your energetics. And I want to also explain something why we want to follow our bodies and not our logical mind is because our logical mind is our mind only knows the story that it's been told to it, right? Our mind wants us to keep us safe. It's scared of the unknown. But sometimes when we step into our power, that's when we actually stretch ourselves and that's how we grow, right? Even if it's baby steps. I always say baby steps are still steps moving forward. And that is the beauty of knowing your design and trying to, like you said, play around with it with simple decisions. You know, what do I want to have for dinner tonight? Do you want to have pasta? Do you want to have pizza? You know, and see how your body is reacting to that. Do you feel that excitement and go for it? And then you're going to start seeing those results. Again, small decisions until you're comfortable with that. You build that trust within your inner wisdom. And then you go from there and start going for bigger decisions.
Beautifully said. Oh my gosh. Yeah, there's so much wisdom in our bodies.
Absolutely. And growing up, because that's also very important. Like when I grew up with my sister who's very intuitive. She has splenic authority. I think my mom as well. My dad is sacral. So all of them, they're making decisions in the moment. And I'm like, what is wrong with me? Like, I'm so confused. So I always thought I'm bad at making decisions. I keep making mistake after the other because no one really taught me that I need to wait. Just wait a day or two and you will connect with your own inner wisdom. Um, so again, it's the story that we've been telling ourselves and how understanding our human design can make such a huge difference in knowing who we truly are and building that relationship with ourselves first and foremost to become who we truly are. And then from there, you see the ripple effect, how you're reacting in your relationships with your clients, you know, in with your coworkers, with your family, with your kids, like it's just it's a different world, really.
Yes, and with yourself too, I
Yeah.
think. Like with ourselves, with our body, with our health. Um, yeah, I'd love to hear stories about breakthroughs. Yes. I I have um this is getting a little specific, but I have a 1-3 in my
Hmm.
human design. And so that's why I take a deep dive and I learn all the details and I love to go to the source of information. Whereas other people are just really fine with the surface satisfying as opposed to really um, maximizing the amount of knowledge that they can have. And so when I see different family members, it's like, oh, that's why they're not interested in the real deep dive. Or I see people in my family who have a sixth line, and I can really see that their life is about um, learning so many lessons and then sharing those stories and their wisdom. And then they really, like, I don't want to say prosper, but they really bloom later in their lives.
Yeah.
So,
And remember when I opened up with my own story at the dining table in tears? It
yeah.
was because of my line six.
Oh,
Line six. And seeing that all of those are lessons learned rather than mistakes. And how can I bring this and make an impact with the lessons learned? It was because of the line six.
oh my gosh, so
So
beautiful.
we've circled back to where we've started.
Oh, so how can people work with you?
And I'm a manifesting generator, so I have so many ways. They can, start with a human design reading to really understand who they are. I think this is where it all starts. Um, you know, as a manifesting generator, it was very difficult for me to niche and be in one box, like you explained earlier. So that's why I'm a human design life and business coach. I talk about relationships, I talk about life, I talk about career. So I think, a human design reading could be a very, very good start. But I also have different offers where, we work on their business. I have a membership, I have one-on-ones, I have, master classes that I do every now and then. So there's so many different ways that people can step into their
So
power.
beautiful. I'm going to get all of your contact information. I'm going to put it in the show notes. And I want to thank you for just opening the door for us for um, knowing what this is. Yeah,
It
it's so
is such
good.
a great
Thank you.
pleasure.
Thank you for joining me today.
It is my pleasure, Linda. Thank you for
So
inviting me and for having me. I think this was such a beautiful conversation. Thank you.
yes, and an important one. Yes. Thank you, Ranya.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed our time together. If you'd like to deepen some understanding or continue to have shared experiences together, I invite you to connect on my website. It's www.lindagehesketh.com, and there are some freebies on there. Also, I'm on Instagram and Facebook as Linda G. Hesketh. And if you're on Facebook, there's a free Facebook community group. It's called Celebrating Delicious Movement Podcasts. And I look forward to connecting with you some more. You can find all of Ranya's contact information in the description of this episode, and I encourage you to take advantage of connecting with what your human design template, blueprint, I'm not sure what the word is, what that wisdom is, because it can really make a difference in knowing yourself, knowing your style, knowing what works best, and helping with so much intuition and decision making and general confidence. I'd love to hear what helped you connect the dots if you had a eureka moment, and leave a comment for us, and follow, subscribe, and we'll see you next week. Are you ready? Are you ready to hear some thought-provoking concepts about how we move our body? I'm Linda Gee-Hesketh, and I'm here as a mom, a wife, a grandma, and formerly trained as a kinesiologist. So the science of human movement, but also a world traveler. So I'm going to bring you concepts based in Ayurvedic medicine, traditional Chinese medicine, different cultural thoughts on movement, and hopefully inspire you to apply some of these really simple principles that are so cool, and they leave us feeling so good. And the side bonus is that we look really good and we move in an agile way, and it's sustainable and harmonious with the rest of our lives. So stay tuned.